Hey there. It's me, Mario. Let me get you sorted. So it's that time of year. I did a video on this. Let me start over. I did a video on this last week. Posted it on YouTube, and long story short, it didn't work. So it's the time of year. Spring's here. Summer's coming up. Beach body time, bathing suit season, whatever you want to call it. But this is generally when we all start kind of getting a little more motivated to work on our bodies. And again, for those of you that don't know anything about me, I'm ACE certified. I got certifications. I was personal trainer and director of training for almost 7 years. CrossFit coach, personal trainer, fitness coach, and life coach, all those things. So I know some shit. So cardio versus HIIT and diets. Starving. Okay, so let me start out with this. Simply put, there's no quote unquote healthy way to lose weight, because essentially what we're doing is putting our bodies in a calorie deficit. And that's key, giving your body less calories than it needs in order to maintain or grow. In this case, we're talking fat. So essentially what we're doing is starving an organism, which is part of the process. And I want to talk about a few diets. Atkins, the last one, and Keto. So before I talk about those, I'm just trying to help out. If anyone wants any more information, just reach out. Okay, so first thing, cardio, monostructural movements generally, aerobic, oxidative. So these are all kind of terms that not exactly the same, but kind of are. So aerobic, cardio, and oxidative energy systems. Jogging, swimming, power walking, all those things. Things you can do for like more than 10 minutes at a moderate intensity, without it kicking your ass. Like you can't, doing burpees for 10 minutes consistently will probably wear you out. Versus high intensity interval training. So I'm gonna make this real quick. A lot of the books and even stuff on social media and all the other things, we're hitting this new trend, started probably 10, 15 years ago, that high intensity is the way to go. We burn more calories that way, which I agree with. But it's the type of calories. And I don't have a full 100% comprehension of like types of calories, because it's wishy-washy, because the calorie isn't really a thing. It's a unit of measurement, but we're not going into all that. So basically, here's what's going on. Cardio. To fuel yourself doing cardio, your body relies primarily on two things: oxygen and fat. Which is why if you talk to pretty much any pro bodybuilder or a majority of ripped individuals, they'll say cardio. The books will say otherwise, but kind of like everything, people have their agendas, and people in power, I think, to start saying like, hey, if we do this, then we'll have more money here. So I think there's a little bit of bullshit to it. Even the book I have still follows the make sure you have your bread and cereals and your grains, whole grain foods, which I 100% disagree with, because that's unnatural and not healthy for your body, and is the root cause of a lot of diseases and inflammation, arthritis, achy this, headaches that, tons of medical issues, which will go back into paleo. So what I'm saying is I don't trust the books all the time. I trust results. And I trust people in the real world that I meet. And I ask them like, yo, what's your program like? What's your diet like? And the dudes I know that are just impressively, just look great, not saying function, not gonna say they're in great cardio shape, but they look great. Got some muscle, ladies or men, lean, see some, definition. It's nice. Cardio. They do cardio. Now, high intensity stuff also has its benefit, but there's generally different goals. There's weight loss, bullshit, fat loss, performance, and what's the other one? Wellness. So if you're trying to just be well, having a wellness diet like paleo may not give you enough calories that you need to be a high performance athlete. Same with how they all overlap. wellness, performance, fat loss. Okay, most of us are talking fat loss. That's what I'm going to talk about, not performance, and not the other one. So going back to kind of where I started, cardio burns a lot of fat. And maybe less calories than like high intensity interval training, like HIIT or CrossFit or circuit training. Again, we're talking fat loss, not performance. Big difference. So anyone want us to talk some shit, hear me out. We're talking fat loss, not performance. So cardio is going to burn a lot of fat. High intensity stuff burns fat as well. But during high intensity, what our body usually goes to first is carbohydrates, which are stored in the liver and the muscles. Once they're depleted from the muscles, the liver has to work to get back to the muscles. Lactic acid and lactate threshold, different topic. But here's the thing with high intensity stuff, the downside. Upside boosts your performance, your health, your wellness, range of motion, functionality, all that. But when you go high intensity, your body goes from burning carbs, and when those are out, it starts burning amino acids, protein. Protein builds muscle. So you can be actually hurting yourself by doing high intensity stuff all the time and not eating right, because you can actually burn muscle. So if you're doing high intensity stuff and like, yeah, I'm performance is good, but I'm not really getting much stronger, there's not much more muscle, you're probably killing your muscles. So just food for thought. And cardio is a little easier to do, less impact on the body. We can do it at almost any age. So that's that. Now, a few diets: Paleo, Zone, Atkins, and Keto. Okay, so let's start from the bottom. Ketogenesis, heard great things. I think it's super healthy for you. Healthy fats, good for your body. Here's the basic summary of how it works. You eat certain foods and you eliminate other foods. And after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, our body starts shifting into what's called a ketogenic state or ketosis. Great. Just the downsides, not saying it's a bad idea. The downsides, the things that I find kind of unappealing or difficult, challenging, is that with keto, one, it takes a few days to get into a ketogenic state. So let's say I wait 4 days for me, I'm in ketogenic state, I feel good, cutting some weight. And then one day I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have some pizza. What happens is it kind of resets that cycle, which means you have to do it again another 3 or 4 days before you get back in that ketogenic state. So it's kind of a very delicate diet. If you make, one decent mistake, you kind of start over. You don't like gain all the weight back, but you kind of like, crap. Now I gotta wait 3 or 4 days before my body gets back into that state. And then you're starting over. So it's really easy to kind of stunt your progress. Other than that, I think it's really healthy foods, all that good stuff. Okay, Atkins. Not keto, they're similar. It's been a while since I researched this, but my experience back when I was in my late 20s, I went from 240 pounds down to like 205 in like 2 months. It looked great, felt pretty damn good. I personally don't see a big deal with it. Some people are like, you have to have carbs. That's shit we've been taught. So if you think about the paleo diet or how most animals eat, even herbivores, omnivores, they don't eat a whole bunch of carbohydrates. It's hard to find carbohydrates in the wild, but when they do, yeah, they feed on them pretty aggressively. But it's not like carbohydrates are a big staple in their diet. Most wild animals, vegetation, and they feed on vegetation and other animals. It's basically fiber, a little bit of carbohydrates, and a lot of protein and fats with the acorns. There's not a whole bunch of carbohydrates. So in my opinion, I don't think we have to have a whole bunch of carbs to be quote unquote healthy. And we all know for years and years, carbs are healthy. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. There's a lot of confusion, and I understand why. I think, again, someone's trying to push an agenda to keep America fat. But in my experience, if you cut down on carbohydrates to a healthy amount, it's good stuff. And you can cheat a little bit more with that. So I like it. It's just not fun. And you have to have a lot of fiber because you'll eat a lot of protein, which means your stomach will get backed up, which is why you have to have a decent amount of dark leafy greens for the fiber. But good stuff. Zone diet is essentially tracking your macronutrients. Your macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The zone for athletic people prescribes 40-30-30 to start out. 40% of your calories come from carbohydrates, 30% of your calories come from protein, and again, 30% of your calories come from fat. Not grams, calories. So what this means is each meal you have, depending on how many calories you need, if you need 1,000 calories, That means that each meal, 400 of those calories should come from carbs, 300 from fat, 300 from protein. Works pretty well. Hormonally, it really hits your endocrine system, your hormones. It helps you regulate your hormones. So you actually feel a lot better on a hormonal level. And it's pretty magical. Just after a few meals of eating a very appropriate zone diet, for me at least, I feel the change. I just feel clearer and I just feel like I chugged a whole bottle of Spark, the Advocare, not the booze drink. I just feel good. So that's pretty good. And again, it's a calorie deficit, so you would do that, but kind of restrict your calories a little bit. But what's awesome is it stimulates your hormones to kind of kick in and be like, what am I doing? I've been living off ice cream and just junk food and inflammatory foods that screw up the nervous system and the hormone system, the endocrine system. So Zone does really well with that. On top of that, you cut some calories. I like it. You feel good, and it's pretty damn healthy. Last one is Paleo, the caveman diet. That's awesome. I did this a few years ago, dropped 28 pounds in 30 days, felt amazing. We had a CrossFit competition. I remember Jesse and Boomy were there, and they usually kick my ass with body weight exercises. I think this workout was burpees, jump rope, one-legged squats, and something. But usually they kick my ass. I actually kicked their ass. At the end of the 30 days, I felt great. Looked awesome. Just lost a lot of strength. My deadlift went from 405 down to like 325. So I lost some strength, but overall felt pretty good. So you may be asking, well, which one would you recommend, Will? I would say Paleo, personally. Healthy. It's just healthy, and it works. And it also gets your body in a positive hormonal state because you're given healthy, natural foods. And organic. It'd be great if you could do organic. But I would say Paleo. After that, I would go with Zone. But to optimize it, if you mix Paleo with the Zone diet, money. So that's my tip. Go get fit. Feel good about yourself. Reach out if you have any questions. Bye.